To help support this podcast
and get exclusive bonus content and rewards,
make a monthly pledge at
patreon.com/universebox. And remember to think outside.
If people take the law into their own hands, then there is no law. Welcome to Legends of Gotham, where we talk about Fox's hit series Gotham, set in the world of Batman. I'm Bill Meeks.
And I'm Anne-Marie DeSimone.
And we're streaming right now for 2 hours as part of the DCTV Podcast fundraiser in support of the Winship Cancer Institute. Right now, I'll go ahead and let you know you can donate right now. If you're over on our chat over on Universe Box, it's right above the chat. Otherwise, you can go to dctvpodcast.com/fundraiser, and there's a big chat going on over there too. You might have, if you have like Flash block or something, you might have to enable Flash for it to work and everything. But we're really excited to be here today. A big 2-hour stream. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it. But we wanted to let you know we picked the Winship Cancer Institute on the recommendation of our friend and fellow DCTV podcaster, Rebecca Johnson of Supergirl Podcast. Now, over the past year and a half, Rebecca has spent a lot of time at Winship through her treatments for breast cancer. Actually, this is a big listener roundtable for season 1, and we actually have Rebecca is a listener too. So we have Rebecca on right now. Rebecca, how you doing?
What's up, Legends of Gotham?
I'm
excited to be here.
That phrase is very, very familiar. But since you're so connected with Winship and everything, why don't you go ahead and tell everyone a little about it? Basically that video you did. Just do a version of that.
Okay. Well, I started going to Winship in January 2014. I had stage 3 HER2 positive breast cancer, which is pretty bad. It's metastasized, and I had 16 lymph nodes in my right arm that had cancerous stuff in it. So it had spread to my lymph nodes. So I went to the Winship Cancer Institute on a recommendation of a doctor friend of mine. And so I was in treatment. I had 7 cycles of chemo. I had 30 sessions of radiation with them. I even had surgery through Emory Hospital. And Winship just, it saved my life. And they do a lot of clinical trials and research. A lot of things, a lot of drugs that get developed come out of Winship. I've participated in a bunch of studies. One time they even did an MRI of my brain, which I was like, really? You want to study my brain? But they were looking for proteins. They've done a whole bunch of fatigue studies with me, kind of monitoring like how much I sleep and how much I exercise, like really important things that they can gather even more information about patients. So Winship is it's an institute, so that means they have the right to do research. And I really encourage people to donate, because every bit of your money goes to research. It's some of the other cancer fundraiser organizations are great, but some of the stuff, some of those organizations have to give, there's an overhead. And so some of the percentage might go to something else. But with Winship, it goes straight to the research. And if you go to our fundraising page, you can actually dictate where you want your money to go. So if you want it to go to breast cancer research, you can do that. Or if you want it to go to brain cancer research, you can do that. So that's one of the really cool things about giving through Winship, is that it goes all to research.
Yeah. I noticed that too when we went over and made our anonymous donation. We're
not telling.
Already shattering the goal, because our goal for this marathon, this big, huge DCTV podcast marathon, was $500, and it's already raised over there $720. So
it's amazing.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
This is hour 3 of the marathon. So, but we're not going to hang it up. We're not going to go home or anything. We're going to continue podcasting, talking about Gotham and everything. But if you guys want to go over and donate while we're talking, or even after the fact, I think it's open for 30 days after we get done today. I think I saw over there. It's just dctvpodcast.com/fundraiser, and there'll be a big donate link right about halfway down the page there. So definitely, we want to get our listeners, as well as everybody else's listeners, to get out there and support this really, really great cause. But we do have another guest we should probably get to. And this is a guy who I know that if he doesn't have the first voicemail played every week, we get letters like, where was this guy? I'm not going to give his name yet. Until now, it's Bobby. Bobby Hawke. How you doing, Bobby?
Bobby!
Hey, guys.
Bobby Hawke.
Hey, Anne-Marie, what's going on?
Not too much.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. We were like, if we could have any two listeners on to talk season 1 of Gotham in full, you and Rebecca are definitely like our number 1 and 2 choices, because you guys are there pretty much every week. I think we tried to get a Michael Lucero who's there pretty much every week too, but he was unavailable this afternoon. Sorry, rip Michael Lucero. No, I'm kidding. He's fine. He's fine. I think he's just taking he's just taking a writer's holiday. He's just dead to us. That's all. But okay, let's see here. So I guess we usually start out episodes of Legends of Gotham kind of seeing what the mood is overall about the episode. But since this is for season 1, I guess we'll go ahead and do it for season 1. So I guess we'll start with you, Anne-Marie. And by the way, Anne-Marie might have to dip in and out here throughout the episode because she wasn't able to find a babysitter today. So.
I'm surrounded by small people.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry.
If you hear cackling or evil children singing in the background, it's just Anne-Marie. Don't worry about it. But Anne-Marie, what did you think of season 1 overall?
I'm going to give it a 2 thumbs up.
A 2 thumbs up?
Thumbs up. You didn't give me a scale, so I'm just going to go with it.
Well, this is overall. This is not the arbitrary scale. Overall. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, of course we will. Overall, I loved it. For not being a comic book person, as everyone else you will hear in this entire 10-hour marathon, I am not a comic person, but I love me some Gotham.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's just say, I mean, we're going to be talking about the episode in full. What was your favorite? Do you remember have a favorite line or a favorite quote from the season?
Oh, for the love of Pete.
I know I did. I'm springing this on you.
Don't spring things. I have to research things, dude. Well, I don't have my notes in front of me like you do, so I'm going to have to defer. I don't remember a favorite quote.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Hey, just think about it. We'll come back to you. Okay, Bobby. Overall impressions. Season 1. Oh, Gotham, City of Angels. No, that's Los Angeles. Never mind.
A bit mixed, honestly, on the season as a whole. I don't know. I mean, I've stated that in my voicemails over the season. It just kind of fell a bit short for me, but I do feel it picked up steam towards the end.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I don't really care for a lot of the characters in it, but I love Bullock. I love Bruce and Alfred. I think the kids are the best part of the show. Oh yeah,
their plot line constantly for me is just a big source of engagement. I'm always wanting them to get back to Bruce's kind of journey, in a way, for sure. Okay, Rebecca, what did you think of season 1 overall?
I was really concerned at the beginning of the season because the first 2 episodes were so all over the place for me. I was like, does anybody know how to write a TV show? I got really concerned. But it picked up towards the mid-season finale, the winter finale. And then towards the end of the second half of the season, it started to become a TV show. And I was more impressed about how they were trying to further their storylines and how they were kind of developing the characters. So it picked up. It had a rough start, but I thought it ended fairly well.
Fair enough. And as for me, I really liked it overall. I do have one major complaint that we'll get to a little bit later in our discussion, but overall, absolutely loved it. And I don't know how much of it was part of just how engaged we've been with it doing the podcast this season, and how much of it was just it was legitimately good stuff. But I like to think it was more the second one than the first one. And I think maybe our passion on the podcast just came out of our passion of just I can't wait to sit down and watch Gotham every week. But let's see here. Okay, so I guess first we should probably just kind of talk about the characters a little bit and going on the characters, see what everybody thought about them. Okay, now the big breakout star of the series, and this was something that was teased before the show even came on the air, the pilot episode even aired, is Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin. Now, this was kind of the breakout character, the big one that everyone who watches the show, even if they hated the show, they love Robin Lord Taylor as the Penguin. So let's see here. I guess we'll go ahead and start it off with, let's go back to Rebecca here. Rebecca, what were your impressions on the Penguin, and what did you think of him at first, and how did your opinion on him develop over the season?
I love that he's kind of like a punk rock penguin. He's got the crazy hair and the awesome suits, and I really love getting to know him. We've seen his deal with fish. We've seen him in the club. We get to know his mother, which is something I never thought I'd see. So I like the idea that we get to know him and see all of his dealings with all these people in the underground and all of his associates that sometimes he might double cross or he gets double crossed. Like, I like all of that, like, underground activity, because the Penguin does, in the comics, he's kind of the guy that people come to do stuff. And so I've really enjoyed him, and his performance is very good. I like that he is totally committed to that limp.
I guess he puts like walks. A pebble in his shoe or something to affect it. So
yeah, it's a great performance, and I think all the accolades that he's gotten and all the positive reviews that he's gotten are so well deserved.
I don't think the show would be as good without him. Like, if anybody else was in that role, it wouldn't be the same.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, if they'd gone with like a more of a traditional Penguin type, like a portly old gentleman, like Patton Oswalt or something.
Yeah,
it just wouldn't work. But having Robin Lord Taylor in that role was just amazing.
Yeah, I also really like Rebecca was saying that everyone in the comics, everyone comes to him and everything. He has a very similar relationship in the show with Jim Gordon as he does with Batman in the comics. In that, anytime Batman just needs to kind of get a little wedge into the underworld to get a piece of information or something. Whatchamacallit, Penguin's the guy he goes to, and the same thing in Gotham. Anytime Jim Gordon needs to be a little bit shady to get something done, Penguin's his go-to guy. That's probably costing him more and more. Let's see.
A little bit.
Bobby, we haven't heard from you. Oswald, what do you think of Oswald?
I love how manic Robin Lord Taylor can be when he needs to be. Mm-hmm. Those scenes where he just totally loses it and like goes at a flower delivery guy with a bottle or attacks some homeless dude for a sandwich, or just all the. He's great.
Quick to violence.
I really didn't think I'd. Yes, yeah, but you love to hate him.
Oh, for sure. Sorry,
Exactly.
Sorry if I interrupted your point, Bobby.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
No, but I also really like that aspect that Rebecca was talking about too, kind of like the punk rock Penguin, because Oswald's, or what will probably eventually become the Iceberg Lounge, is feeling more and more like kind of CBGBs or something, which is a lot of fun, and I think it's kind of cool too, because it seems like the show runners are using it as sort of a launching pad to kind of feature some indie music acts and everything in New York City, which is really cool, because I've seen the past couple times they've had a band at Oswald's, like the actual band from New York City will tweet out, "Hey, I was just on Gotham. It was so cool."
Oh, really?
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know
bands.
that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're using real bands and everything for it, for sure.
That's pretty cool.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer used to do that in their nightclub. They had real bands in there all the time. But they also would cross promote that at the end of the episode. They'd be like, buy this CD, buy this band,
Well, Smallville famously did that, where they'd have Promo Pete pass the CD of the band playing at the end of the episode right in front of the camera.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Update from Andy. We're now up to $740. So
Woohoo!
Awesome, you guys.
So amazing.
Anne-Marie, is the TV playing up there?
No, sorry, they're on the computer. I keep trying to mute, but I don't want to be totally silent.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna let you be aware to maybe ride the mute just a little bit more than you have been, and definitely if you jump in, I'll try to make some space for you to talk too, since you'll have a delay in having to unmute and everything. So is that cool, Anne-Marie?
I will unmute and tell you yes, and now I will mute again.
Thank you very much. Excellent. Okay, well, actually, just to throw things all in arrears, I'm going to go ahead and throw to Anne-Marie and ask her what she thinks of Alfred and Bruce so far. What does she think of the relationship between Alfred and Bruce? Al and Brew, I call them.
You're a jerk. B, I love Alfred and Bruce. I think they have one of the most complex and amazing relationships in this entire show. I want to know more and more and more and more about them. Mm-hmm. And I wanted 20 more seconds at the end of that finale to find out what's in the cave.
Well, you're someone who isn't really too familiar with the comic book versions and everything. Did
not even remotely.
Did the portrayal of Alfred surprise you from what you knew from I don't know, just the movies and stuff like that, or what did it excite you? How did you take kind of a super spy Alfred?
Never ever pictured him to be a super spy. The whole military background actually really surprised me because I don't know exactly which Batman cartoon show it is, but I don't know. I just picture him as sort of, the little old British guy with the mustache.
Batman the animated series, you mean, right?
That's sick, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I literally don't know. It's whatever is on and the children are watching.
See, if you've never listened to Legends of Gotham, I'm the hardcore Batman fan. Anne-Marie's the normie who comes in to get her normie opinions all over everything.
Don't call me normie. Ew.
She's a muggle.
Ew.
She's a muggle.
I am not a muggle. Wingardium Leviosa.
Wingardium Leviosa, I think would be the better way to say it.
Very nice. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself again. Enjoy.
Okay. Bobby, Alfred and Bruce, what's up?
I really love the family dynamic between the two of them. How, I'm sure they were close before it happened, but I feel like, Alfred is just as hurt by the loss of Thomas and Martha. Is that her name? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. They're dead now.
Even I knew that one, Bobby. Even I knew that one.
Wait a second. I think we're talking about dead Thomas and Martha Wayne. I think that calls for a Bruce Wayne yell. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, sorry, Bobby, go ahead. Wait, hold on. Okay, there we go.
No, I was just saying I really love, how close they are and how, the moments of Alfred imparting fatherly advice on Bruce and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. How did you? Because you're a little more familiar with the comics, but featuring the Alfred's kind of military spy background and everything, that's kind of that hasn't really been done too much since the Silver Age until the Batman Earth 1 graphic novel that came out a couple of years ago. Were you expecting that, anticipating that? How did you feel about that overall?
I was definitely expecting that, especially with the casting of Sean Pertwee.
Mm-hmm.
But I was actually expecting more of it, to be honest with you. So I'm hoping we'll get more of that going into season 2. Maybe not necessarily him being badass now, but maybe some, flashback episodes, some episodes dealing with what he used to go through or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Some more training maybe with him and Bruce.
Yeah, that's definitely got to happen, obviously.
Although they did kind of touch on this year when Reggie was staying with them and everything, that I think Bruce is definitely going to be looking outside of the household for some of his training and everything, because I think he realized that, Alfred's great and everything, but not everybody fights like Alfred, especially the villains and stuff in Gotham. So I think he's definitely going to be looking a little bit outside of Alfred too for some of his training.
I also feel like Alfred's been a bit reluctant to train him in, the ways of what Reggie would, but maybe some revelations going into the Batcave or whatnot will make Alfred think otherwise.
Yeah, well, this is something we actually brought up a little bit in our finale coverage and everything. Do you think that Alfred had any idea that Thomas Wayne was up to mischief, or do you think that it came as much as a surprise to him as Bruce did? Do you think that scene when Bruce was kind of discovering what was going on, Alfred was too, or was he playing dumb?
I think it's a little of column A and column B. I feel like he probably knew more than he let on, but maybe not as much as what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely some mystery down there. I really wish the camera had just gone down those stairs another 10 seconds. But okay,
at least they had the bats fluttering and whatnot.
Yeah,
yeah. Nice.
Actually, you know what? I can probably hold on 1 second. There we go. I can do a little echo. Okay, Rebecca, Alfred and Bruce, or all Bruce as the shipping name. Not shipping name. Just a combo name. Yeah. Let's not go there.
That's not right.
Let's walk back the all Bruce. But Rebecca, what did you think of them overall?
I liked it. At the beginning, I was kind of laughing about it because Bruce would be like, I don't want to do that. And then Alfred would be like, okay, you don't have to do that. And it would be like, I don't want to go to school. And Alfred would be like, okay, fine, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I was sort of like, oh, I guess he is a rich, spoiled kid. Mm-hmm. So that dynamic I was kind of surprised by. But I like the stuff with him training Bruce. Y'all were talking about kind of how he was training him how to fight and do some of that stuff. And I do think that Alfred probably know some stuff about Thomas, because I would like to think that Alfred and Thomas Wayne's relationship is very similar to the way Alfred interacts with Bruce. Like, in my mind, like, Alfred would be the person who Thomas probably confided in when he needed to, just like Bruce does. So I really liked the development of Alfred and Bruce. And even that there's that episode where they like go out into the woods. I forget what episode that was.
Oh, yeah, I think that was like episode
really
16 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like my favorite Alfred and Bruce episode, because like they both were mourning the death of the Waynes. It wasn't just a Bruce thing, it was an Alfred thing too.
Yeah, I really like how Alfred keeps giving Bruce crap about liking Selena too. Like, are you sure that's why, Master Bruce? Are you sure? Are you really sure? You have a little crush going on there.
I think Alfred wants him to have a friend. So I think that's an interesting dynamic, that he wants him to have other people in his life, but he's like, oh, I don't know. Just be careful.
Fair enough. Like I said before too, I just love Alfred's kind of that kind of half smile he always has going on and everything. And I see Amy Marie in the chat room going, "LOL, Alfred plus Bruce shipping. How very Game of Thrones." Good joke if you get Game of Thrones for sure. Okay, so I guess we'll go ahead and move on to and this is like the main character, so I don't know why he's number 3 on the list and combined with somebody else. But Gordon and Bullock. What do you guys think about Gordon and Bullock? And actually, Bobby, we'll start with you this time. What do you think? Gordon Bullock.
That's kind of interesting, because I feel like I really love the dynamic of them together. Taken separately, though, like Bullock is probably my favorite character on the show. But I think that has a lot to do with the actor portraying him. But then Gordon, it feels like you were saying, like
I think it's because you could totally. I'm sitting here staring at your picture on Skype right now. You could totally cosplay as Bullock. Totally. You got the beard, the kind of long hair.
I'll do that.
Do it up.
But Gordon, how you were saying, he's not necessarily. He should be the main character of the show, and it feels like he's been relegated to a side character sometimes.
Oh, very true. Like I mean,
agreed.
There's been a slow progression with him, or sort of a degression, kind of like a dipping down into the muck and the mire of Gotham City. But it's not. The other characters have gone through much bigger changes faster than Gordon has. He's kind of just he's been kind of in a holding pattern since he made his first big compromise. You know what I mean? Yeah. But
I love, as far as the dynamic between when you say Gordon and Bullock, putting them as characters together. I love the moments when like Bullock's like, we're not doing this, and Gordon's just like, okay, you done? Let's go.
Yeah, I also really like how Bullock lately has been sort of jumping back in, and he's been kind of trying to dissuade Jim from getting too deep into dangerous situations, because I think he likes the partnership, he likes their relationship, and he doesn't want to do anything too crazy to put both of their lives at risk just because they work so well together. Where at first he was kind of like, this guy, this goody two shoes over here. He's kind of grown to have a respect for Jim, which is pretty cool.
He has no room to talk, though, Mr. I'm smooching on fish.
Just randomly for that one episode.
He can't even talk. Yeah. Hey, she saved him in the finale.
She did. He must be a very good kisser.
He's a very good kisser.
Okay, Anne-Marie, well, why don't we go ahead and move on and talk to you a little bit about Jimmy Boy and Harvey Beardy guy, Bullock.
Oh, you and your nicknames are awful today.
I know, right?
They're really, yeah. Gordon feels like he's a side character now. Like, he's there to move things, but he's not the interesting story at all. That's not why I'm tuning in. I'm tuning in to see everybody else.
He's not the name on the marquee.
He really isn't, but yet he is. He is the name on the marquee. He's just not giving us that story.
Well, it's like going to see a production of Our Town. Like, you're not going there. The stage manager's the star, but you're not going there for the stage manager. You're going there for the lovely romantic story between the Gibb and the Webb kids, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it's like. Is he is the through line for all of these stories, but he's not the story, really.
Yeah, and I know you had some issues with him at first because they had that whole kind of PTSD thing going with him, where he would have like these kind of like manic episodes while he was like chasing a suspect and everything. They kind of dropped that like real quick too. But you didn't like that too much, right?
Not so much. The wobbly. I don't deal with wobbly cameras and effects and stuff like that. It just felt very out of place because, oh, look, we're running, and everything's crazy and running, and we never came back. So apparently they heard me and they deleted that.
They were like, Anne-Marie doesn't like it. We got to cut this.
Anne-Marie doesn't like it. Done here. We'll save some money. We won't do that effect anymore.
Okay.
So there's that.
Okay, I guess we'll ask, move on to Rebecca now. Rebecca, what do you think about Borden? Which is the Bullock Gordon shipping name, which I think is much more appropriate than the Alfred Bruce one.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some shippers out there. What is that? Hashtag Borden?
Yeah, hashtag Borden. Hashtag Borden versus hashtag Gorkins.
Yeah, I really enjoy their dynamic, and I was glad because those first couple of episodes of Gotham, like there was this pattern where Jim would get in trouble and Bullock would come in and save him, and I was like, okay, I'm kind of tired of this after like the third time it's happened. But towards the, over the course of the season, it was pretty evened out. And I really like Donald Logue as Harvey Bullock. And I think he's really done a good job of just becoming that character. So every time he's on screen, I love seeing him. So I have more of a preference for Harvey Bullock than I do for Jim Gordon. I think we sort of touched on it, but I would like to see more of Jim Gordon explored. I would like to see more of his back, like, even though they did drop his problems from his military days or whatever, I would like to see more of Jim Gordon because I think that would be a good way to get to know him.
Oh, definitely. I'm really glad they're keeping Leslie around too, just so we can kind of keep an eye on the personal side of Jim Gordon too.
Yeah,
I think they're going to explore some of his probable daddy issues here in season 2, seeing as how the whole exchange with him and Falcone and the knife and all of that.
Well, that's kind of been like bubbling under the surface the whole season too, because his first conversation with Falcone featured that too.
Right, that's what I was going to say. It was like, it was very early on in the season that they mentioned it, and then they just brought it back. It was like, oh yeah, I completely forgot about that even being a thing. So there's that.
Oh, a DCTV podcast, and I'm assuming that's Andy in the chat room says, but I want more of Montoya. We do too. We're getting there. But first, I think we should probably talk about, and this is a character that we brought up very briefly before, Fish Mooney, kind of a contentious character. You either loved her or you hated her, or you liked her for the first episode, then hated her for episodes 2 and 3, then liked her again from episode 4 on until she went to Dollmaker Island. Opinions vary.
And then everybody hated her.
But actually, let's go ahead and we'll start where we left off again with Rebecca. What did you think of Fish Mooney?
Well, actually, I sort of liked her whole thing with the Dollmaker just because it was a good glimpse of seeing how she might have come to power in Gotham. Like she goes in there as just kind of one of the prisoners and somehow she becomes their leader and gets off that island. So that survival instinct of her was really fun to see because I just imagine that's kind of how she came into power with the underground of Gotham. So I loved how campy she was. I know some people probably didn't like that, but I enjoyed Fish, and I thought she was a good new character for the Batman mythos because I think every different telling of a comic book story should add something to it. And so I'm hoping we'll see more of Fish Mooney in future tellings of Batman.
Oh yeah, definitely. And one of the things that was a little weird with her was kind of like the inconsistent vocal quality she had the first few episodes. Like at certain times she sounded like kind of just a standard Jada Pinkett Smith character, and then she'd sound like Julie Newmar or Eartha Kitt, and it was weird because at the beginning she was pulling in all these kind of like you could hear like influences of previous Catwomen in her vocal qualities, and that didn't really make sense to me until the final episode where you see, and I think we talked about this a bit too, Anne-Marie. The final episode where you see Selena working with her and kind of like looking to Fish as kind of like a role model or someone she can grow
inspiring
to be.
Her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Inspiring.
Yeah, if you want to pick that torch up and talk a little bit about it, Anne-Marie.
Oh, okay. I'll pick up that torch. Sure.
It's right there on the table.
Right there. Oh, it's on the table. Nice. No, it was really interesting to see how that Selena even followed her, because she was just like, "Hey, crazy lady, getting off the boat. What? I'm not a kid." And then suddenly she's working for her, and she's like permitting me, and she's purring and snuggling next to her, which was a little odd and disconcerting. But yeah, it was neat to see that, because you could definitely see her realize that she didn't just have to be a street kid. Like you could almost see that in the last episode. Like it wasn't much. It was only, a couple scenes, but you could see the wheels turning for her to, rise to some sort of power.
Yeah, here's a power structure I can probably climb because Fish did it, and I like Fish, and so I can probably do that too, sort of thing.
And really, in a sense, she's tougher than Fish. I mean, yeah, Fish will slice you with her fingernails and such. But I don't know, Cat's pretty ruthless. Yeah. Like Cat seems more tough.
Yeah, I still wish we had a clearer idea of Fish's kind of like childhood and background too, because I wonder if did she grow up like Selena grew up, or did she grow up like, I don't know, in kind of like a privileged sort of household where maybe like her parents were involved with the mob at that time and she kind of grew to power, just kind of like in a kind of sycophantic, like taking over the family business kind of way.
Yeah. It felt a little more like that because we did see her mom, so we think it was never actually confirmed.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. It was the old lady. So
the old lady
it definitely would have been nice to get the old lady scene. Been nicer to get more of her story, but she's dead and gone now, so
at least she's in the water. We never saw her a body.
She's swimming.
She went for swimming.
Yeah, fishes are known for their swimming.
Swim.
Exactly.
Yeah,
fishes are known for swimming.
Exactly. Okay, so Bobby, what do you think? Was Fish a catch, or should we throw her back? What do you think?
Throw her back.
You never liked her, did you?
No, I've never liked. No.
He's like, no,
I'm not
never.
a fan of ham. I'm not a fan of ham.
Ham or cheese. So.
Cheese and corn can be okay, but ham, I don't know. No.
It's making me hungry.
No, but seriously, I like Jada Pinkett Smith, so I don't think it was her. I don't know if it was just what she decided to bring to the character or what she was directed to bring to the character, but I just never cared for her at all.
See, like I kind of saw her at times too as kind of trying to do the whole kind of big guest star of the week 1966 Batman villain too. I saw a lot of that, like a modern version of that in her performance too, which I guess, love it or hate it, but it's a way to play it, definitely.
Yes, and to be honest, there were a few moments that kind of felt like that in this show. And now that you bring that up, it almost there were times where it almost felt like it didn't really, especially in the first part of the season, didn't really know what kind of show it wanted to be. In my opinion, anyway. Yeah,
there was definitely a bit of that kind of trying to find its footing and then kind of getting thrown off its footing because of the increased episode order. But
yes, definitely.
I guess that's a great segue to talk about this character, because I believe this episode was originally slated to be like the season finale. And that was the blind fortune teller. And, what character was introduced in that episode? I guess, if I don't know how this is going to work with the Skype lag and everything, but I guess it's about time to look at this Joker. Look at this Joker.
Hey,
he killed his mom. We talked about it at legendsgotham.com. Look at this Joker. He's really sweet. Look at this Joker. He'll cut off your feet. Look at this Joker. Joker. Yes, look at this Joker. This is the segment where we talk about all the clues, stuff, and whatnot about Joker on Gotham. Legendsofgotham.com. Click on Look at this Joker right at the top. A lot of fun. We're going to be talking mainly, I think, about the character most people are assuming at this point is the Joker, Jerome, who was introduced in the episode The Blind Fortune Teller. He, like I said in the song, he killed his mom and everything. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to pick a random person in the listing here. Why don't we go with Bobby? What did you think about our old boy Jerome? And you can also expand this out to talk a little about the Red Hood game and stuff too if you want.
I really think, I don't remember the actor's name, but I think the Jerome character was great, and if they don't make him the Joker, I'm going to be quite upset unless they totally wow me. Mm-hmm. But as far as, like you were saying, the only other direction I would want them to go is with that kid who picked up the Red Hood at the end of the
Red Hood gang.
Red Hood gang.
Red Hood episode. Yes, thank you. Jeez. But I don't, if it's not one of those two characters, then I'm going to be upset. Like, I don't want it to be Barbara.
Yeah, I could definitely, I could definitely see the Red Hood gang kid kind of looping back around and maybe running into Jerome, in prison or something too, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But so you liked him overall? You liked the Joker voice, the Joker laugh, all that sort of like.
Yeah, it was dead on. I mean, it was great. I mean, we all knew it was coming, but then once that little turn he made in the interrogation room, I mean, it was great.
What do you think about the idea of having a Joker origin at all? Because I know some fans are very mixed on this, especially fans of the the Christopher Nolan movies, where the Joker was and some comics where he's given he has no origin, so it's kind of controversial. What do you think about doing an origin on the Joker in general? Because we have heard that season 2 Joker.
I hadn't even thought about that, as far as I see what you're saying about actually defining an origin for the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's never really bothered me. And like I said in the last voicemail, I believe that we can't judge this show by any other version of the Batman story. I mean, This is totally its own beast, its own animal. And I mean, if they decide to define an origin for Joker, it's not like it's going to be the origin for Joker. It's just going to be this show's origin for Joker. So there's still going to be many origins out there.
Yeah, like we've called it on the show Earth G. This is Earth Gotham, and
right.
They can do whatever they want, and it's not going to hurt your version of the Joker necessarily.
Right.
Let's see, Rebecca, what did you think of the Joker? Once we looked at this Joker, of course.
Yeah, I'm with Bobby. I think his turn in that interrogation room I was surprised by how much I was impressed with that, because the Joker is such a difficult character to do, because a lot of people have their ideas in their head about what the Joker should be. Some people think that Jack Nicholson's Joker is the Joker. Some people think, oh, you can't do better than Heath Ledger. And now people are, mixed on Jared Leto's Joker. But I was pleasantly surprised by how well he captured that kind of crazy eye, the crazy look in his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad that he was able to do that. And because so many people love that character as a villain. And so if it was not good, people might be upset. But he did a great job. And I do think there is something to having a little bit of a mystery to the character. I think Bobby makes a good point that whatever Gotham decides to do, this is Gotham's story and they can do whatever they want to. But I think there is an element of, I'm not really quite sure what's in his backstory that makes him a little scarier. And I'm open to seeing what they do. But overall, I thought Jerome was great.
Yeah, for me, as far as like the do the origin, don't do the origin question, I really like it just because, well, one, I kind of like the origin from the comics, the Killing Joke sort of comedian down on his luck falls in with the Red Hood gang and everything. I like that origin, okay, but I know when I was a kid growing up watching Batman 66, when I saw these villains, like every week I wanted to see the origin of these villains and find out how they came to be, and they never had it. So if nothing else, maybe that's just in Gotham in general, I'm really enjoying getting kind of a look behind the villains, even though I know their origins from the comic or Batman the Animated Series. I don't know, Gotham feels like a reboot of the 66 series to me in a lot of ways, in kind of like dialing it back like a prequel almost. So it's really cool and exciting to me to see these origin stories pop up. And with Jerome, I really like too, just all the little nods they had. The Joker is a clown, so he starts in the circus, and they had his grandfather wearing the very Jack Nicholson-esque suit. A lot of little things like that. But I guess, Anne-Marie, what did you think of Jerome overall?
Okay, so unpopular opinion. He wasn't my favorite. I actually kind of liked some of our Joker ideas better. Which
like
Laszlo? I can't think of off the top of... Yeah, well, I loved Laszlo. But maybe it's because we knew it was coming. We knew it was going to be in that episode. We got teased and teased over and over.
Yeah, a lot of people said the marketing spoiled it for them, too.
The marketing did. I would have 300% preferred just going into an episode. You know, actually, I think they'd have been fine if they'd have just teased the Graysons in that episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then, boom, there's the Joker.
Yeah, like, you're not expecting
that would
it.
have been much better.
Yeah.
No, it's just such a big character. It shouldn't have been spoiled, just like how they spoiled the cave, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that was like the final moments of the episode, and they do the trailer for it.
Right. So it just, maybe their marketing team needs a little bit of help with that. They need to know when to pull back.
Or like, well, I think the thing is, especially in season 1, they're probably just trying to like hook in as hard as much on like a core audience to take them into season 2 too. So they're trying to get those big moments out there.
That's also biting them in the butt, because that's one thing they're getting criticized for, is the fact that everything's just flying out the door.
Mm-hmm.
We already have how many mega villains, like how many of the big villains, and it's only been one season.
Yeah, like that is a criticism, but like, I mean, I like the way they're handling it. Okay, and this is someone we'll be talking about in a second, but like the way they did the Scarecrow is cool, because like, yeah, that's basically his origin, but there's still a lot to play out in that story. So they're introducing ththese villains, but they're still giving plenty of like wiggle room for them to tell more of their story going forward. You know.
Right. I'm not the one complaining. I don't know anything about 97% of these.
You're like, I'm just trying to.
Hey, look, you're fun.
I'm just trying to represent fan opinion here, Bill. Lay off.
Exactly. Listen, I like the police procedurals. That's my role here. Let's keep proceeding.
That was something else that was kind of cool with Jerome too. Though he was introduced as one of those just random witnesses that you would see on Law and Order SVU. That kind of comes back and is actually the killer later on. He reminded me so much of one of those. They're usually like the name guest stars, like the Stephen Colberts or whatever, you know, when they have one of those guys on, they bring him on as like a witness early on, and then it loops back around and he's actually the killer involved in the killing and everything. So I thought those
are my favorite episodes of SVU.
Okay. Before we move on before we stop looking at this Joker, I think we should go around the panel and just find out who everybody's like favorite, like ideal, like the platonic form of the Joker is in your mind. Like, who's your ideal Joker? And we'll start with Rebecca.
Oh, that's tough. Well, when I was a kid, I loved Jack Nicholson's Joker, but I thought Heath Ledger did such a good job of taking it to the next level. He was crazy and scary, but he was also really funny. And I thought that was a cool take of him in the real world. And he was very dangerous too. And the air of mystery was great. And I think somebody in the chat was they've been talking about Mark Hamill's Joker. Mm-hmm. And I think he also set a really high standard of the Joker cackle and his interactions with, Batman calling him Bats, and his relationship with Harley. And so I think Mark Hamill did a lot to set a standard for the character since then.
Oh, definitely.
So I guess those would be my two, I guess.
Yeah. I think anybody is going to have to say Mark Hamill's Joker too, just because that's the character we've had for the past. Well, I mean, everyone on this panel for the majority of our lives, he's been the Joker. So okay, Bobby, who's your favorite Joker?
That's going to be hard to pick. I'd probably have to say Mark Hamill, of course, like you were saying, along with everyone else. But I'm going to go with one that no one's going to say and say Andrew Koenig. If you ever saw, there was a fan-made short film called Batman Dead End.
I believe I saw that. Yeah.
It's like Batman in an alleyway versus Predator and the Joker and Alien.
Yeah, I was going to say I thought it was Predator. I couldn't remember exactly. But yeah.
Yeah, but Andrew Koenig, if a lot of people don't realize, is the guy who played Boner in Growing Pains.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know him.
And he's the son of Walter Koenig, the Chekhov from Star Trek.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know that either. Learning all sorts of stuff today. he has.
I'm just now looking at pictures of him, and he is terrifying.
Yeah, he has long flowing hair now. Like he has like Fabio hair.
Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, actually.
Oh, you know what? I remember hearing about that.
So, yeah. But anyway, his take on the Joker was great. Sorry, I wasn't trying to.
Oh no, it's okay, and apologies to making fun of his hair too. I wasn't aware he'd passed away. But okay, now I just feel bad. Jeez, Bobby. Jeez. See if we invite you on a listener. What?
AK-47, gone but not forgotten. That's what they say all the time. He was a member of the Never Not Funny podcast.
Oh yeah. Because that wasn't it something like he was out. He
went on a hike and went missing for like a week and
Mm-hmm.
And but again, that was all good thoughts. AK-47, gone but not forgotten. Again, sorry, I wasn't trying to bring anything down or not.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. And I remember because he was involved in that, and then I think he was kind of like a production guy for Comedy Bang Bang a couple times too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. He did after he left Growing Pains. He did a lot of he was very instrumental in early podcasting.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Very cool.
Okay, Anne-Marie, who's your Joker?
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger?
Whatever. Yes. Let's just go with I already loved Heath Ledger, and then they put him in that role, so it sort of made me really love him. But that's really the first Joker that, from when I even started to pay attention to any of this, I didn't grow up in a house where we did things like watch Superman and Batman, like comics and comic book stories and cartoons weren't what we watched. We were sports and music people. So it just wasn't any of that.
So you didn't have one you hooked in on early on.
Right. No, there was I didn't have that exposure. So the first time I ever really knew was Heath Ledger because it was Heath Ledger. So, there was.
Let's see. As for me, like obviously Hamill's like the gold standard. I also really liked what Cesar Romero did with the role, of course. But I would actually have to say like my ideal Joker wouldn't be from any like media version of the story. It would probably be from the comics, and it would actually probably be from the first Joker story, which I just completely blanked on the name. I think it's called The Laughing Fish or something like that. But just like, if you've never seen the Golden Age Joker, just go look at a picture of him. Creepy as hell. Like he has this. He looks kind of like the Joker you'd see on the back of like an old playing card set, because that's basically what he was modeled after, and just super creepy and just. The nature of the story, which they kind of used as inspiration for the Heath Ledger's plot, or like his kind of big second act gambit in The Dark Knight, is basically him just like saying, okay, the mayor's going to die in 24 hours. Okay, the police commissioner's going to die in 24 hours. And then they just instantly... surrounded by guards, they just drop dead with a big smile on their face. Super creepy, especially for the 40s. And just anytime I like picture like the ideal Joker, I think of the Joker from that story. It probably just because, I don't know, that's where it was incepted from and everything. So, okay, let's see here. Let's,
I'm sorry, Bill. I just wanted to tag on to what you were saying there, that the Joker is actually based on Conrad Veidt from a silent movie in the 1920s called The Man Who Laughs.
Yeah, The Man Who Laughs, yeah.
The movie, if you look at the movie poster, I mean, it almost looks like a movie poster with the Joker on it.
Yeah. I think it was like, because Bill Finger basically created him, if I remember correctly. And it was kind of like a combination of the two. He liked both of those kind of images and he kind of mashed them up. Plus, I mean, the Man Who Laughed was kind of the characterization anyway was very Joker-esque anyway, for sure. We want to check in on our fundraiser going on here over at DCTVPodcast.com/fundraiser. We're still at 740, where we were when we got that update from Andy. So we'd like you guys to get over there and donate a little bit. Come on, it's a great cause, the Winship Institute and everything. Like I said, you can go to DCTVPodcast.com/fundraiser to do it. And you can do that even if you're listening to this episode, way down the line, a couple weeks down the line or whatever, because I think we have about 30 days here where we, 229 days. Plenty of time to get. Yeah,
it's through the Winship 5K race. So you've got some time if you can't donate today.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And we've already, like I said, we smashed our goal of $500. We'd like to at least double that today during the marathon. So if you can get over there, even throw just a couple bucks in, really appreciate it. DCTVPodcast.com/fundraiser. And you can get the donation in over there. Okay, back to talking about characters. And for me to get a break from talking too, which will be nice. Let's see here. The next big character that they came up with here, which was kind of a 2-episode arc they gave him, was the Scarecrow, Jonathan Crane. Crane, and kind of through the lens of his father. So let's see, Rebecca, what did you think of the Scarecrow origin, or the Scourigin, as I call it?
I was surprised at how much I loved it. I'm not a huge Scarecrow fan, but I really liked their take on it and the way it was shot and the way it was kind of the twist where, like, at first it's kind of the dad who is kind of messing with the toxin, and then you see it's passed down to the son. Of course, in that episode it was a little bit too on the money. There was wasn't there an actual Scarecrow?
There was, out in the field.
The yard. Yeah, so it was a little too on the money. But for the most part it was scary, and that's what I liked about it, was that the Scarecrow toxin should make you kind of freak out a little bit. So I thought they did a really, really good job with the Scarecrow origin.
Yeah, my favorite thing about it was that it ended like every Scarecrow story should, and that's Jonathan Crane having taken too much scary juice, like freaking out. You know, that's the note you want to end on for any Scarecrow story for sure. Okay, let's see here. Anne-Marie, someone who's not too familiar with the character or the comics, what did you think of the Scarecrow?
It was perfectly creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely creepy because, like, again, with not being familiar, I had no idea that this whole crazy thing was going. I thought this was just a dude who likes scarecrows, and that was his character. So it was really neat to see that transformation, if you will. It was also kind of a fun episode, or 2 episodes, because you got to see a lot with Bullock and the chick and everybody with the fear, and the way that the guy was killing people was amazing to get the fear toxin. Is that what it would be? Out of people? Like the glands. That's what it was, the glands.
Yeah, they were going for mashing up the glands and everything in that really disgusting scene.
That was disgusting. That was pretty rough. Yeah, that was brutal. But it was good. It's nice to get a little bit of that gory type stuff with the show. So.
Oh, for sure. Would you like to see young Jonathan Crane come back? And if so, how?
I could see that, but I don't know if anybody's letting him out of that hospital bed anytime soon.
Or if he'll even want to venture out with all those scarecrows surrounding him.
The creepy scarecrows, yes. Which, yes, it was very literal, but I think that's what made the fear, not made the fear, like, that's how the fear manifests for him, like all the crazy juice. That just happened to be what he saw, and I don't know, it was his inspiration.
Yeah, it kind of felt almost like the same note as Bruce seeing the bat fly through the window. Which you know, whether you think that's too on the nose or not, at least that's kind of like, I don't know, they're still kind of trying to play a decent cover version of the Batman mythos. So let's see here. Okay, Bobby, Scarecrow, your opinions. Did he scare you?
I actually, that was one of my favorite episodes, at least the second part of the of the 2-parter was. Julian Sands, I really like that actor. I thought he did a good job of, I don't know if that's something from, I don't think that's something from the Batman mythos, is that his father had anything to do with it, is it?
Yeah, well, there are a couple different versions of the Scarecrow origin. I believe one of them at least involves his father, but it's not like there every time or anything like that.
Well, regardless, I thought they were able to fit it in well into Gotham, because one of my biggest complaints about the show, again, you know, now I'm judging it as its own universe, but going into it, I was like, how are they going to mix in characters from the Batman mythos when we have a 12-year-old Batman? But I thought they were able to do, especially the Batman character, I thought they were able to fit Jonathan Crane into it very well.
Like, what do you think about overall? What would you think if they started having Bruce go and kind of tackle some of these teenage villains that are rising up in Gotham next season? Like, I don't know, like a Jonathan Crane or a Pamela Isley or something like that. Ivy Pepper, I mean.
I think we're still a little early for that, to be honest. I think we still need to go down the course. You know, like, this next season needs to deal with Bruce learning who his father was and who he needs to become.
Oh yeah, for sure. So you think he's going to have to get a clearer picture of his father before he's ever going to even attempt to do any of the vigilante stuff?
Yeah, I mean, well, not only a clearer picture of his father, but I mean, he just needs training and whatnot. I mean, granted, you know, he's becoming better and better. I mean, he did find out, you know, where the fireplace thing was and whatnot, but he did have to tear apart the whole damn library to do it.
Very true. Okay, let's see here. Okay, next and we're over an hour in, and we're barely halfway through our list of characters. So I think this was the right tack to take, Anne-Marie. Let's see here. The next character is whoa. is Enigma, the Riddle Man, as I believe he's called in the Batman mythos. Now, I'm gonna take first point here, just because I want to get it off my chest, and then we'll throw it out to you guys. And just, I loved Ed. I loved everything about him. I think, if anything, his character suffered a little bit from being a little too much of a stereotype, kind of like the geeky, nerdy loner stereotype. I think he fell a little too hard into that, but then again, I think they kind of saved it at the end, bringing in this really dark edge to him, because I thought he was just going to remain kind of like that geeky, nerdy loner stereotype who eventually just, runs off and does LARPing through Gotham City as the Riddler. But no, it turns out, no, he's actually a complete psychopath, which I can completely respect. So I think they saved it at the end, but that was my big complaint with him. Loved the character overall, though. And I think I loved the individual kind of beats they hit with his character. I just think that sometimes he fell a little too hard into a stereotype that I might have fit into when I was a teenager. But let's see. Let's see. Rebecca, what did you think of Enigma, Riddle Man?
I thought he was fun. I thought the way they had him always doing riddles when he was in the police department, that was pretty fun. But I was disappointed with his predictable, he goes crazy over a woman storyline. I was not real thrilled with that. I thought they were kind of going more with the typical issue with the Riddler, because all the Batman villains represent something of a psyche for Batman. And the thing about the Riddler is that he's a narcissist, that he does those riddles as, a narcissistic tendency. And I thought it was great the way he would try to impress Jim and Bullock, and they didn't want to have anything to do with him. And I thought that was more of a good way to show that he was trying to be sure of himself, and they kept putting him down and acting like he was no big thing. And I thought that might turn him to kind of go crazy. So I was a little disappointed that it was over a woman and that he killed a guy, that was, it was well executed. I just was not a fan of the way they did it.
See, I would almost say that, the way that, really more Harvey than Jim treated him, as well as, other people within the precinct and everything, had as much to do with him flipping as Kristen Kringle ever did. And I think we're going to get some more of his backstory next season, which will probably help kind of support that a little more. But I think Kristen Kringle in that whole situation was more just like the straw that broke the Riddler's back sort of thing. I know the way they played it was a little weird and a little stereotypical too, with the whole her being the abused woman thing, kind of trying to hide it, and him coming in trying to save her. But I think, and this is something that feeds back into his ego, the way he left Enigma on the letter there. I think she discovered that he did it, and she's kind of into it, because they have set the precedent that she's the type of woman who likes damaged goods, who likes damaged guys, right? And so I think, if nothing else, I would like to see them kind of team up and start their super villain career together. Maybe she could be a Christmas theme villain or something. But so yeah,
I like that idea.
Yeah, so I agree with you. It's a little stereotypy, a little but at the same time, with Ed in general, I think they kind of took a very interesting twist to it at the end there. But Anne-Marie, what did you think of Eddie overall? I know you like this character.
I do. I absolutely love Enigma, and I wanted more of it. Hold on, small person.
He likes it.
He loves it. It's his favorite character is Batman. No, it was. Sorry. There's so much there, and we've barely touched the surface, and I kind of want to see where it goes. I'm interested to see how they get there. It did seem to escalate rather quickly.
Yes.
So I can only assume that the crazy part of him, hold on, buddy, started a while ago. So yeah, that is one of the nice things about Gotham, is we have been getting all these origins. So that would be one that's interesting to see. I actually kind of, the way everything's set up, wish that he was season 2 instead of season 3.
Yeah.
I kind of they already sort of set that to go in for season 2, and just to touch on the Joker for season 3 or season 2 to set him up and everything, and then to explode in season 3. That makes so much more sense to me. But hey, we will see how we go with Mr. Enigma.
Yeah, and I would almost guess that we'll see him slightly, lightly approaching the whole supervillain thing in season 2 as well.
Absolutely.
I would like to see, if nothing else, him hook up with like Penguin and maybe like Jerome or something too.
Well, him and Penguin didn't really get along so well.
No, but in most will they won't they relationships, it starts out kind of icy. So I have high hopes. One interesting rumor that came up over on the Gotham subreddit this week was that Rainn Wilson is being considered for a part related to Ed's past. Now, whether that's like a flashback to his father, or maybe I was thinking maybe like an old professor of detection or whatever it is Ed does. I forget his official title, but maybe like his forensics. That's it. But maybe like it could be like his previous mentor or something like that, and we could see kind of that relationship develop and kind of shape who Ed is too. But I definitely would love to see some more Ed background for sure. Bobby, what did you think of the Riddle Man, Mr. Riddle Man?
I actually thought he was great. Don't remember his name's like Corey something, the actor, but I thought
Corey Michael
great
Smith.
As Enigma. I thought they did a great job of like making us sympathize with him, and maybe I'm wrong, but like the scene where he showed up and killed the officer with a knife, like it seemed to me like the dude almost like ran into the knife before Enigma started stabbing him.
Oh yeah. So do you think Ed was just like, oh well, I have to finish this now?
Like it just happened. Yeah, exactly. And then it's just a slippery slope into the Riddler. What happened over the next few hours, where he dumped his body into a bag and then carried him through the precinct.
Yeah,
it's so messed up.
But as far as what you were saying with the Rainn Wilson thing, that seems interesting. It'd be cool to see him as like a forensic professor who like used riddles in his lessons and stuff.
Oh, definitely. And I definitely think that, that whole stabbing scene was probably one of the most nuanced performances we've gotten on Gotham the entire season, because you just like see the progression of, oh, that happened. Oh, I better keep doing it. Oh, wait a second, I shouldn't be doing this. Oh, wait a second, I kind of like it. Oh, wait a second, it's done and he's dead.
Exactly.
You just see all those little decisions in his eyes as it goes through. And it's like, someone who has acted in the past, very well done, Corey Michael Smith. I very, very much admired his performance there. And definitely looking forward to seeing more of the Riddler going forward here. And I would just like to mention that Bobby tweeted a picture of himself out to Donald Logue, Harvey Bullock, saying wanting his opinion whether or not Bobby could cosplay. So hopefully, maybe we might get something from Donald here before we're out. Who knows? We'll see. Next character is a character the first big villain created specifically for Gotham. Had the biggest arc of the season for a villain, 3 episodes. The Ogre. I forget the actual character's name. Anne-Marie, why don't we start with you, since this is your boy Milo.
I can't help it. As soon as he was announced, I got excited. I was like, my worlds are colliding.
Well, you're familiar with this actor, Milo Ventimiglia, from Gilmore Girls, which John Stevens...
And from Heroes.
Yes, and from Heroes, but John Stevens from Gotham worked on Gilmore Girls, too, so connection.
Exactly. So, he was amazingly creepy. And I kind of almost could see him and Barbara starting up a team together. They just they made sense, which is disturbing and creepy and awful all at the same time. So, no, it was just, the fun thing about this being a TV show that does have a weekly Freak of the Week type of thing, Freak of the Geek. Is you are going to get some, you're going to get actors you're familiar with, and it's really fun to see them do some different roles. And, from the roles that I'm familiar with him from, this is completely different. So, that makes it fun. That makes the show entertaining and interesting.
Oh, definitely. What did you think of, did you think he made a good villain? Because, I mean, like we said, you're more familiar with him in kind of like a nice guy, kind of good guy kind of roles. Did you think he made a decent villain?
I think he played a very good villain. I think it was very good. I was scared of him. So no, I really liked him. It was nice to see him. Though it's probably best that he got killed.
Probably. I will say the mighty Crispy in the chat room, as far as the Riddler says, I don't think they played hard enough on the I'm smarter than everyone else aspect for the Riddler. That'll probably, I think that was a lot of that was off the line, kind of behind the scenes of the character. But that's probably, I think that's going to come out more front and center as we move forward for sure. Okay, Rebecca, what did you think of the Ogre overall? 50 Shades of Slay, I believe we referred to it as.
Yeah, he was very scary. I'm like Anne Marie, that I know him from Heroes as one of, the good guys. He was a guy who cared for other people. He was like a nurse, if I remember correctly, like a
Yes.
hospice kind of a nurse. Like he took care of like people who were dying. And so to see him in this role it showed to me what a good actor he is, because he was pretty terrifying and very controlling, manipulating the circumstance with Barbara. And of course, she kind of fell into it in a weird way. But it was funny to me how he knew, because he kept telling her, like, you're the one. All these other women, I could tell were not the one for me. And so somehow he and Barbara kind of did have this sense that they shared kind of the same weird interests. But then what was scary to me is that when she realized what was up, she kind of couldn't get out of it. And that's like one of the scariest parts of it for me, is that even if she knew what was going on, there was no way for her to escape. And even inside of her own, even inside of a really nice apartment, he was very wealthy and had a nice apartment and all this stuff. And she did not want to be there because he was keeping her there. So he was very terrifying. And I thought the end, where it's like the twist, I know we're going to talk about Barbara, but the twist that he kind of gets her to kill her parents, I was like, whoa. That is hardcore. So he ended up being a very, very good villain.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And just the right kind of psychopath for Gotham City, for sure. But Bobby, what did you think of the Ogre overall? Bobby, hello.
Sorry, I didn't realize my mic was muted.
Oh, it's cool.
Sorry. I thought he was great. I thought that it definitely escalated the show to another level when, like Rebecca was saying about Barbara. And I guess, like Anne Marie was saying, I mean, he obviously had to die, but I guess it's a shame we only had him for 2 episodes.
Well, 3. I think it was 3 episodes. Like,
no, you're right. It was 3. We had those flashbacks, and then the 2 that he was in, I think.
Yeah, I was actually just about to ask, and this is open up to anyone on the panel for sure. Like, do you think the Ogre deserved 3 episodes when like the Scarecrow only got 2, or do you think it was just enough? Too much? What do you think? Panel, answer.
I think it was good because it wasn't just about him. It was about Lowe setting him up, and that was really what that first episode was. It was, it had to set the premise, and there just had to be somebody there. He really didn't get too much of that episode. He only had those flashback, creepy, weird scenes. It wasn't completely devoted to him. It was devoted to Jim learning about him and how the realization that Lowe was using him to kill Jim, basically.
Fair enough. What do you think, Rebecca? Too much, not enough?
Oh, I totally 100% agree with Anne Marie that the reason that his arc was a little longer was that it encompassed a lot of different story elements, whereas like with the Scarecrow, it was mainly just setting up him as a character and what he will be in the future. But I think with this Ogre storyline, it was about other characters just as much as it was about him. So I 100% agree with Anne Marie on that.
And Bobby, I'm assuming you basically said as much beforehand. You agree? It was just right?
Yeah, I mean, there's not much. Yeah, there's not much to add. Like they said. I mean, specifically Barbara. It carried us into the finale. That 3-episode arc led up to where Barbara was going, and yeah.
Sorry, I was just thinking about Barbara's fight with Leslie, and it made me laugh.
Well, don't worry. I'll kind of stay mum on Barbara because I want to bring her up a little later, but we'll get to her in just a second. I will say the mighty Crispy in the chat room says the Ogre was great. Nice that they were freed from all the bonds that come with the iconic villains. And yeah, well, there's a DC Comics character called the Ogre. Nothing about this character has anything to do with that character. And one of the original characters they came up with for this series, and I thought he was really good too. Like, I think if anything, that episode with the flashbacks, I would have liked to have seen maybe more just like a first encounter sort of thing with them. But then again, that might have felt a little similar to the Scarecrow episode too. So what are you going to do? Okay, let's see here. Barbara, Crazy Pants, Barbara Kean. A very controversial character throughout the entire run of the series. People hated her, then loved to hate her, then loved her because they hated her. But I want to see what you guys say about her. Like I said, I'm going to stay pretty mum on this issue, but we'll go ahead and start with Anne-Marie. Barbara, don't be a Barbara, darling.
I won't be a Barbara. Okay, so I wanted to like her in the beginning. Maybe it's, the girly feministness in me that I was like, all right, girl character, yay. But I was just like, okay, and boring. I want to sleep. You're not doing anything. When you are, it's crazy and under the influence of something. And then she just disappeared. And that felt a little weird and almost out of the blue. So, I guess we should have figured that they were setting up for something crazy when she disappeared like that. But those last couple episodes, she took it out of the park. Like, it was amazing. It went to a whole nother level. I can't wait to see what happens next. And honestly, I did not picture her being the one to kill her parents.
That completely shocked me too.
Yeah, it makes sense. But in the little bit that we get in the Info of the Hammer, she seems surprised by it. And she even says, I believe in the finale, that she didn't know they were going there. He told her they were going there. Like, he kept saying, tell me who. But I think she just sort of, passed out again, and he just took her. And she didn't realize until they were almost there where they were going, which makes it all the more, like, insane.
Yeah, and I kind of got the impression when they found her in her parents' mansion and everything, like, I don't think she was ready to admit to herself that the reality of the fact that she had killed them either. Like, she was just kind of, I think she was just kind of stuck for a while there mentally.
I don't even know if she was upset. Mm-hmm. Like, when she looks at Jim and says, "You're not supposed to be here," I think it was because her and the ogre were, enjoying the fruits of their spoils or whatever. Like, they were just hanging out and maybe planning their next move. Because I really think that when that, evil part of her was surfaced, it took hold.
Oh, for sure. Tight. It was the dominant personality pretty quickly. Let's see here. Our buddy Andy from the Flash podcast, he's kind of sitting quietly on the line here, listening to us gab, but he has something he wants to say about Barbara. Andy, you there?
Here's the thing.
Okay.
A few episodes before the finale, I was like trying to find a way of sending a truck down to Gotham City, something that would just drive over her. Then we would take her into the world of Arrow, put her into the Lazarus pit, bring her back, and run her over again. And then we do the process over and over and over. That's how much I despise this character. She was a freaking drag.
I will say that if you took Barbara, killed her, put her in the Lazarus pit, she'd come out completely sane.
Probably.
No. It would make her worse. Because there's no mind left there to fix. That's just me. Carry on. I'm going to mute myself again. Thank you so much.
Fair enough. Andy votes for the killing of Barbara Kean. Not the actress Erin Richards, who we love, but the character, Barbara. Let's see here. But resurrecting by Lazarus Pit. Actually, that's kind of Doomsday's origin, isn't it? Killed, brought back to life, all that kind of stuff. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to pick between the two people who haven't talked about Barbara yet. I'm going to pick Bobby. Bobby, what do you think about Barbara?
I kind of agree with Andy's sentiment about Barbara. I hated her. She belonged with fish.
Swimming with the fishes.
I just didn't care for her at all. It took her killing her parents to make her even the least bit interesting.
So you're on the same boat, kind of hated her. okay, she's okay because she's weird now, kind of thing.
More or less, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm interested to see where they take the character with her killing her parents and whatnot. But I mean, again, like I said, it's pretty rough that it took a character killing her parents for me to show any kind of interest in her.
Well, this will probably lead into something you want to talk about too, Rebecca. But do you guys think that that Leslie bashing her skull into the floor a billion times killed her or not? And we'll start with you, Rebecca.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Part of me is like, with you guys, like Barbara was terrible, and it seemed like they didn't really know what to do with her. And the only times I really liked Barbara was when she was like house sitting, or not house sitting, when she was kind of babysitting with Selena and Ivy, like when she had them kind of staying in her house. That was like the most fun Barbara. That was the most fun Barbara ever was. But part of me is like, I really don't want Leslie to have killed somebody. That is pretty hardcore. But I mean, I know it's self-defense, but I don't know. I think I would like to see Barbara stay alive just because it would make kind of a really interesting dynamic between kind of the love triangle there that they created with Jim and Barbara and Leslie, just to see kind of what happens with that. But yeah, I don't know what else you could do with Barbara.
Yeah. See, the one thing I was going to say, the one thing I'm kind of hopeful for is that, if she did live through that, then she's pretty much the textbook example of somebody who belongs in Arkham. And as far as we know, Jerome is too. So Jerome's there, and I kind of peg Barbara as almost kind of a proto Harley Quinn. If Jerome is Joker Jr., then Barbara will be Harley Quinn Jr. or whatever. And I
can see that.
Yeah, especially considering we kind of got this impression from Barbara's dialogue and stuff. When she was talking to Leslie, that she is really into damage guys and guys who will damage her in a way too. So I think that's very Harley-esque and very something that Jerome / the Joker might be into, considering his problems with his mother.
They can bond over that. They've both done that.
Yeah, they both hated their parents for different reasons.
Moment, but yeah,
they have something to talk about on the first date, at least. Let's see. Mom with Moxie in the chat room says, "Yeah, Barbara as Harley Quinn. That's what I thought." Which a lot of people have thought that, and a lot of people have been like, but we'll see, I guess. Okay, so the last characters we have to talk about on our list here are ones that haven't been seen too much, actually. And that's Renee Montoya, Crispus Allen, and Harvey Dent. Now, it has been announced that Harvey Dent's going to be a series regular in season 2, so we're going to be seeing plenty more of him. So maybe we won't talk about him so much, because you know what? We'll talk about him plenty next season. But Montoya and Allen, what happened here? These are characters that are hooked in a big way and have been since the 90s into the DC universe, into the very origins of this show in Gotham Central, kind of like the inspirations for this show in Gotham Central. And what's the deal, yo? Where are Montoya and Allen? And what did you guys think of them to begin with? I guess we'll go ahead and start with Anne-Marie, if she's there.
Hold on, I'm dealing with something.
Okay.
Come back to me.
Okay, we'll come back to Anne-Marie. Why don't we start with Rebecca then?
I was under the impression when Gotham started that it was going to be kind of like a Gotham Central, where you got to meet the Gotham City Police Department folks, because there is no Batman. So the police are kind of the people who are going to have to go out and solve the crimes and get the bad guys. And I was really into that because that's something that we haven't seen a whole lot of. Like, you get a little bit of that in like the Dark Knight trilogy and on Batman the Animated Series, but I was really hoping to see more of the GCPD. And so when Montoya and Allen kind of just disappeared, I was like, this is kind of not what I signed up for. I mean, it was still good, but I would like to see more of the GCPD. So I would like to see them come back.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And Ton DeGoss in the chat room says, #bring back Renee. Yes, please. And bring her.
Yes, please.
I would love to see her meet a little guy named Vic Sage at some point, too. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Question Renee Montoya, please. Bobby, what about you? What did you think about Montoya and Allen overall? And do you miss them? How much do you miss them?
Bring back Montoya and Allen.
Yes. Very much so.
No, seriously, I mean, like you were saying though, weren't they season regulars? You were saying like, oh, we won't talk about Dent, but I mean, it seems like a lot of shows do that. They bring on these side characters as season regulars, and we all get so happy to have them as season regulars, and then they don't do anything with them.
Yeah, they just like drop off real quick. Yeah, it's like.
Did
go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, did they not test well or something? Because they sort of dropped right around when the original season stopped.
Well, I got the impression that they were there kind of to chase down bad boy, secretly good boy Jim Gordon as he dealt with the underside of Gotham through the Penguin and everything.
Right.
Like, they were there to kind of hunt him down, and then they just they couldn't figure out anything else to do with them after that almost.
Which is crazy to me because Jim introduces them to Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be picking up that story, which, you know, Bruce seemed okay with. Why has he not been able to get a hold of them to get his help with the Wayne Enterprises?
Mm-hmm.
Also, obviously, I'm done dealing with what I had to deal with.
Yes.
So, yeah, like, I don't understand why they disappeared. And I don't understand why they make these people season regulars and make us all be like, yay, we're going to get to see them. Even if it's only 1 or 2 scenes a week, we still get 1 or 2 scenes a week. And then they just disappeared with no mention. Like, sometimes even when a character has that sort of situation happen, they're still mentioned, but it's like these guys never existed.
Well, I think, you know, definitely the lack of faith that Bruce is showing in Gordon right now, if, you know, this whole stoic thing going down below the manor works out for him, I could definitely see him kind of like looking up Montoya and Allen behind Gordon's back and, you know, calling them into service to try and hunt down Shiny Shoes, you know?
Oh, Shiny Shoes.
But Bobby, you were going to say something?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I was just laughing. I don't think I was going to say anything.
Well, no laughing, Bobby. We're not allowed to have fun here, for sure. One small thing I'd like to throw out there, and this is just something that's occurred to me when they stopped showing up, and I figured I'd throw out there one more time. I really kind of get the impression that since Montoya introduced Dent to Gordon, that once Dent comes back into the story, Montoya and Allen might too. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm hopeful that next season they'll be showing up there and earning that title credit they get at the beginning of every episode that annoys me because I know they're not in the episode. Let's see here.
Have we gotten confirmation that they're series regulars next season?
I don't think we have confirmation one way or the other. The only confirmation for anything I've seen is that the DVDs are coming out September 8th. That's all I know.
That's really late.
It is, right? Super late.
Well, they want to put them out as close to the new season coming out to try to garner interest and all that kind of stuff.
I'm hoping it'll come out on Netflix before that, though, so people can get caught up before the new season.
Yeah, I know, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I wanted to watch that, but then there was 5 episodes gone, and I just can't catch up. I'm like, who are you? Who doesn't have a weekend where they sit and catch up on all their shows?
Yeah, I would like to go ahead and mention here, if you haven't donated to our fundraiser yet, still plenty of time, and we're closing in on the last 25 minutes or so of our section of the marathon, but we'll be back to talk with everybody a little later on, but you can donate at dctvpodcast.com/fundraiser and give some money there to the Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Really great cause. We would love to be able to give them as much scratch as possible because they're doing really, really good work over there. Okay, let's see. Where are we on this? Okay, so we're done with characters. Yay! It only took us an hour and 40 minutes to talk about the characters, and we didn't even talk about all of them. Well, there's no Selena here. There's no anything like that, but it's okay. So, okay, let's go ahead and discuss what's your favorite episode of the season so far. And I guess we'll go ahead and start with Rebecca. What was your favorite season so far, or a favorite episode of the season?
Oh, I couldn't pick one. I really couldn't. My first episode that I loved was Lovecraft, which
Fitting.
I guess is appropriate because it has love in the title. I loved that one because of all the Bruce and Selena stuff. Like pretty much any episode that I liked in Gotham season 1 had Bruce and Selena together in scenes. And I liked the blind fortune teller. We talked about how awesome Jerome was. So that was a really good episode. It was fun to see like the flying Graysons and all of that. So that was a good Batman-y episode. And Beasts of Prey was another one that kind of stuck out to me because that was the one, correct me if I'm wrong, that was the one where Bruce and Selena are investigating the whole Reggie thing. And that's the one where Selena pushes him out the window. I thought that was a great episode because it changed the game for Bruce and Selena's relationship. Like that was something where it solidified Bruce's I don't think I can kill people. And Selena was like, I'm going to do it if I have to. And that was a total nailing down of their characters and their characterization. So I thought that was a great moment in the season. So those would be my top three: Lovecraft, the Blind Fortune Teller, and Beasts of Prey.
Yeah. And as for me, I'll have to go with the Blind Fortune Teller too, just because, well, for one, my dad, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast before. My dad was a magician in the circus. So I love a good circus story anyway. And they also included a lot of fundamental stuff, like you said, like, the Jerome thing and the whole like origin of Robin thing, Haley's Circus and all that. So really cool to see all that. And I get, if I had to pick a second one, it would probably be the Balloon Man from the first half of the series, just because Balloon Man is almost like my ideal image of like the perfect like Batman villain, just because it's so like on the nose and a little corny, but has like he's a villain who, if nothing else, had a really good philosophy behind him, or a really strong philosophy behind him, which is something essential in any good Batman rogue. And I kind of felt like he was kicking off the age of the supervillains in Gotham City too, so that was kind of fun. Okay, let's see here, Anne-Marie, what was your favorite episode or episodes?
Okay, some of my favorites are definitely with Beasts of Prey. Just like Rebecca said, everything with Bruce and Selena is just amazing. And it's really, I know we said this earlier, but the teenagers on the show are phenomenal. And when we get to see them featured, it's all the more exciting because they're really good actors for being so young, and you believe everything they're doing. So that is pretty cool. The Anvil or the Hammer, because I really did like everything with the ogre and Barbara and her parents and all of that was really cool. And then another one that we haven't really touched on even remotely was What a Little Bird Told Him.
Oh yeah.
With Liza and Falcone and Fish. Like, I completely loved that entire thing. Like, I think that's the first time we've said Falcone in the entire episode.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, he's kind of important.
Oopsie doodle.
But I just, well, whatever. Falky doodle. But it was really neat to see the approach that Fish was taking to, well, take him down and to become the queen of Gotham, if you will, by using Liza.
I'm the queen of Gotham.
I'm the queen of Gotham. So it was really, I just really liked that. I liked all that stuff with Falcone and the chickens and the penguin, who we raved about in the beginning and have barely mentioned.
Well,
stuff like that.
We got it all out up top. It's okay.
We got it out. It's fine.
Although he was the little bird in What a Little Bird Told Him. So I guess he has that going for him, which is nice. Okay.
He has that going for him.
All right, Bobby Hawke. What was your favorite episode overall?
As well as Rebecca and Anne-Marie said, I loved Beast of Prey for the interaction between Selena and Bruce. I really enjoyed the second part of the Scarecrow arc, and Viper. I haven't heard anyone mention. I thought Viper was a really good episode. I think it was like the fourth episode, and it was like the first episode I can remember like giving like an origin to like actual Batman mythos stuff.
It was also the first one with Bruce Wayne going to a society gala sort of thing. High society gala.
But like I did not see the whole Viper Venom connection coming at all, and so I thought it was like one of the biggest like surprises to me in the show, and I thought it played out pretty well.
Oh yeah, and I would definitely like to see them kind of like follow that thread out and do something more with that. I would even like to see like an episode where, I don't know, young Bruce gets exposed to it or whatnot, because that's how it came across in the comics originally, right? Batman got addicted to it, to the Venom.
I believe so.
Yeah, so that would be kind of cool to see, like I don't know, see what David really has, see if he can play a junkie. Okay, well, let's see here. I guess we'll move on to favorite characters here. We have about 15 more minutes here. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Anne-Marie, favorite character or characters?
If I had to pick one, I honestly pick Selena. I've really enjoyed her journey so far. And you really have seen her go from street kid to being calculated and, very methodical with what she's doing. But I also love the Penguin for everything we've said and more. Zaz just entertains me thoroughly, and well, Montoya and Alan. Who knows if we'll get them back?
Yeah, you've really, it was kind of surprising. And like we said, you know, you're not a big comic fan or anything, but you've really hooked into Zaz, which is like,
I did.
considering where that character goes, it's kind of like, I hope you're willing to stick with your decision because he gets really, really, really weird, like even weirder than he has been on the show. So,
And I completely believe that. Sometimes it just takes that one story to hook you in, or that one portrayal of that character.
Yeah.
And I think the guy who's doing it he's making that interesting, and also it's a really fun name to say. Zaz.
And all that Zaz.
Zaz, yes, because it makes me do that every time we talk about him. I was trying to avoid it.
I will say, as far as favorite episodes, the Mighty Crispy in the chat room says, I think my favorite episode would have been Beast of Prey and the season finale. And Andy says in the chat room that the character or the actor who plays Zaz was on Flash this past week. So,
oh, that's right. Yeah, with the metahumans when they get out of Star Labs. Yep, that's right.
Okay, so Rebecca, what was your favorite?
That would explain why we haven't gotten that much of him.
He was
on
off.
other shows.
He was off in Central City. So,
Yeah, he was locked up.
yeah. So let's see, Rebecca, what were your favorite characters?
Well, Penguin. I mean, he just was a standout. So that is a kind of a no-brainer for me. And I was really happy when Morena Baccarin was cast and we got to see her. And this was kind of the first live action Dr. Leslie Tompkins.
Oh yeah.
So I was really excited about her, and I'm glad we're going to get more of her next season.
I hope we get more of her with Bruce, though.
Oh yes, wouldn't that be great? Yeah, more Morena Baccarin and more Dr. Tompkins is a great thing in my book. And I was really taken with the Selena and Bruce relationship. I'm a huge Batcat shipper. I know we kind of dogged on the shipping earlier, but I'm a Batcat shipper since I was 9 years old. No, 12 years old when Batman Returns came out.
Nice.
And I really kind of struggled with Bruce at the beginning because I was like, I don't know if I feel this young Bruce. But by the time that we got to the finale, I was like, this is a Bruce who is going to become Batman. And so I'm totally behind him 100% now.
Excellent. Okay, Bobby Hawke, what do you think? Favorite characters? You might be
able... sorry.
It's cool.
Yeah, I got it again. Sorry. The dogs were barking. But I've mentioned it time and time again. Donal Logue is one of my favorite actors, so I really love his portrayal of Bullock.
And you look like him.
I find it like I was kind of hesitant because I didn't picture Donal Logue as Bullock going into the show because he doesn't look anything like the animated series version of Bullock. But I just love what he did with the character. Of course, everyone loves Penguin. I love Bruce. And then one of my favorite side characters of the show is Gabe, like the Penguin's henchman.
Oh, yeah.
I love that guy. I don't know why. Just every time I see him, I'm like, Gabe!
He's just like, he's down for whatever, but he's really good about asking the questions that we're asking about the Penguin's plan at that point. You know, like, what the heck are you doing?
Are you sure this is, yeah. Are you sure about this, boss?
Nice. I respect all of those answers, especially the last one, for sure. As for me, I'm probably going to have to go with Alfred, just because he's snarky, he's witty, he's loyal with a hard ass side if he needs it. And he's also kind of the father that Bruce needs right now, if not the one he deserves. Obviously the one he deserves is the one that is dead, buried in the ground. Rip Thomas Wayne, the stoic. I know, but I just love Alfred, and I like I said, some of my favorite moments in the series have just been Alfred, kind of just ribbing Bruce a little bit about a crush with Selena and everything. He's just he's the Alfred we know and love with just a little bit of a harder edge to him, which I kind of like too. Especially, you know, I'm a big as far as like the Batman mythos, I am really steeped in the Silver Age Batman mythos, and that was kind of a big part of Alfred's character in the Silver Age that kind of got glossed over as we moved ahead through the Crisis on Infinite Earths and everything in the 80s. So it's kind of cool to see that aspect of his character folded back into it. And we kind of saw that in Smallville too, with kind of like the Lex Clark friendship back in the Silver Age kind of being reintroduced in the modern retelling. So kind of cool too. Okay, let's see. As far as favorite storyline arc, and I'll go ahead and start this one off. And for me, that would probably be the Barbara arc overall. I really enjoyed it just because I always kind of had her pegged as someone who was going to flip and go super villainy, probably like within the first few episodes, probably from the first time that she interacted with Zaz. I was like, okay, they're going a weird kind of cool dark place with her. And I also liked it that, and this became especially apparent in the finale, but that she was someone who just wanted a little bit of a dark edge in her life because she was from such, kind of a rich, privileged background and everything. And then when she got that dark edge, it was way darker than she ever wanted it to be, and way more than she bargained for. And it was just kind of cool seeing that sort of like a high society veneer slowly kind of get chipped and slip away on her. And, once Gotham got its hooks in her, it kind of pulled her down into the darkness forever. So if she's still alive, I think she's going to be a pretty compelling, if not supervillain, which I think probably supervillain, at least an interesting thing for Jim to run into when he's coming over to Arkham to question somebody else. So let's see here. Bobby, what was your favorite storyline this season? Muted, maybe?
Yeah, I keep doing that. I'm so sorry, Bill.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I called you out on it.
I really enjoy like the dynamic between Bruce and Selena. That's probably my favorite. But then the dynamic, like the bond that grew between Bullock and Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Gordon hated Bullock, or rather the other way around. Bullock hated Gordon when the show first started, and it's made it believable over the course of these 22 episodes. That Bullock not only likes him but respects him, and like you said earlier, like cares about him enough to tell him, dude, you're going down the wrong road. You might want to sit this one out.
Yeah, for sure. I will say the Mighty Crispy in the chat room says Penguin and Selena were favorite characters for sure. Okay, let's say Rebecca, favorite storyline.
The Scarecrow two-parter. I was just so blown away by how it brought something new to the table, for me at least, with the Scarecrow, and I thought it was shot really well, and I wanted to see more of it by the time it was over. So that small little two-parter was like my favorite kind of story that took place this season.
Very cool. And let's see here. Anne-Marie, your favorite storyline or arc?
Mr. Nigma.
Riddleman.
Mr. Nigma. Riddleman. I didn't really know what to expect going into this, just because as the Riddler, you sort of think of, or I think of him as like goofy and, the big questions all over the suit and craziness like that. But I think it was just very interesting and specific. Like, I love every action had a reason, if not 7.
Mm-hmm.
And like his clues, and then does he regret his clues? Does he like the clues? Does he have any idea what's coming next? Like, it's really cool, and it's been nice to see his progress towards Miss Kringle, and kind of curious to see where all that goes, and to see if he tones it down a little. Did he scare himself? Or is it just going to ramp up pretty quick?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. It will be very interesting. We do have, I will say, less than 10 minutes left here, so we're going to have to speed through these last 2 topics. I will go ahead and say once more, just so I don't forget about it, if you want to donate to the Winship Cancer Institute, which is what we're here today, raising money for, DCTVpodcast.com/fundraiser. I'm going to refresh the page here to see if we've got any more in there so far. Unfortunately not, but thank you to everyone who's donated so far, for sure. And let's see here. Okay, and we'll go through these real quick, guys, just because I want to get to that last topic too. Theories. What do you think is going to happen for season 2? I'll go ahead and spit mine out there real quick. I think once Bruce gets to the bottom of those stairs, that Thomas is going to be revealed to have been a masked vigilante, a la maybe the Shadow or the Gray Ghost from Batman the Animated Series, if you're familiar with that he'll have been working in Gotham as a vigilante, and that's why he got in the first episode, in the pilot episode, and his kind of career doing that will inspire Bruce to do the same, to don the cape and cowl. So that's my theory. Let's see here, and I guess we'll go in order as they are on the doc here. Anne-Marie, what's your theory for season 2?
Okay, so we know that it's going to be the Joker for season 2, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see him come to power and how he brings people to his side, especially if he's in Arkham and gathering more crazy people from Arkham, which we've kind of already seen a little bit this season. So it's going to be neat to see if at the end of the season, if he ends up taking over being the king of Gotham as it is, or if it's still on a slow build.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, Rebecca, your theory for season 2.
I don't really have any theories. I just want to know more about Ivy Pepper. Does she become Pamela Isley? What is her deal? I want to know more about her. And I'm interested, even though I kind of didn't like the way things went with Ed Nigma, I do kind of want to see what happens to him now that all of this has gone on and he's been chopping up bodies and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to see more from Ed Nigma and Ivy Pepper.
Definitely. Yeah. Poison Ivy is a really good way to bring kind of that supernatural side of Gotham, which we just got a little taste of this season with the Dollmaker, Dr. Dollmaker and everything. So I really hope they kind of explore that side more in season 2 for sure. Okay, Bobby, your theories for season 2.
I think, like you said before, we're probably going to go into the Court of Owls. Probably that's what Thomas will have been investigating. He'll find a lot of that stuff in the cave.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to know more about Alfred's past.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because we've just got a little taste of that, right? And more just like dialogue than anything. It would be. I think Gotham could use some flashbacks, like we see in most of the people here still watch it. Once Upon a Time, like Gotham it would be nice to have a couple little flashbacks to kind of fill in a little bit of the backstory and everything too. So hopefully we'll see that.
Well, we can't fault them. We did get a few. with the ogre, but those were
and
more
with
those weird
Donald Logue
visions.
as well. With him and his former
Oh,
partner.
yeah, we did with Donald Logue.
Very true.
So
Very
we
true.
do actually get them. We just need them.
We need more.
more. We need more.
Okay, and let's see, guys. We're going to go through these super, super quick, but I wanted to get them in here. Gun to your head. Let's get critical. What's one thing the show could improve on? I think the show kind of faltered, personally, after episode 16, but I think that was because of the episode order stretch. I think they need to really find a hardcore, defined story to tell over the course of 22 episodes instead of having to put in all those filler episodes, and maybe dial it back on the speed at which they introduce characters, because I don't have a problem with it. A lot of people do. Anne-Marie?
Can we get back to the Wayne murders with everybody instead of just Bruce? It's kind of the inciting incident of everything, and well, we haven't heard from it in weeks.
Spinning wheels.
Yeah, we're just hanging out or not even thinking about it.
Okay, Rebecca, critical words for the Gotham creators. What do you think?
The show needs a better format, period. Sometimes I think it kind of, they don't know what to do with some of the characters, so they just kind of throw them in at the last minute. I think the finale is a good example of that. Like randomly, Nigma showed up and it was like, what is happening here? I would like to see them kind of adopt the Veronica Mars style of storytelling, where you have one big seasonal arc and then each episode you get kind of a hint or a new discovery in every episode. So that's what I would say, work on the format.
Definitely. And yeah, that might have been a situation where there was kind of that one set thing and then they got the episode order stretched out and it was a little weird, but hopefully we'll get that fixed. Bobby, what's your criticism for Gotham? I know you have several. Pick one.
It needs structure, like everyone else is saying, but bottom line, just make Gordon more interesting. Do something with that character.
Make him more than just like the chiseled jaw hero that comes in and saves.
He's just totally one dimensional right now. I mean, they tried to throw in that whole PTSD at the beginning of the season and different things like that. But, he's become so one-dimensional that they've tossed him to the side and focused on other characters. Yeah, and
I think they definitely did try to circle back around to him kind of like, well, him getting this guilt complex over Barbara towards the end. But it did, there was so much other stuff going on. They really didn't get a chance to address it. I think that would be a good place to start, maybe, to kind of give him some more characterization in season 2 before. Okay, well, we're about 2 minutes off. The Mighty Crispy in the chat room says Court of Owls would be great in season 2, or go like 5 years in the future where Bruce is actually off learning to be Batman. Yeah, I would be completely down for kind of a flash forward between seasons at some point as well. But we'll see there. But okay, let's see here. Yeah, we're about 2 minutes away. Again, the link to donate to our wonderful cause, Winship, is dctvpodcast.com/fundraiser. You can follow our podcast if you're not familiar, either through the DCTV Podcast megafeed or at legendsofgotham.com. Now, I guess I'll start with my lovely co-host, Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, where can people find you online?
You can find me on the Twitters at AMDSimone.
Okay, as for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Bill Meeks. Let's see, Bobby, where can people follow you?
At Inevitable Hawk, HAWKE.
Excellent. And yeah, we love Bobby. Yeah, we hear from him every week. If you've ever listened to the show, you've heard Bobby's voice for sure. And let's see. Finally, Rebecca, which I get you're going to be coming back a little later on the marathon too, right?
Yeah. So Supergirl Radio will be after the Flash podcast. And speaking of Supergirl Radio, you can. I'm the co-host of that, and you can find us at supergirlradio.com. We're on the Twitter and the Facebook and Instagram, all at Supergirl Radio. And you can find me personally on Twitter at DerbyKid. That's DerbyKid.
Yeah, and I know some people. The Supergirl show isn't on yet, and some people were a little uneven on the trailer. If nothing else, Supergirl Radio is really great because right now what they're doing is they're going through and they're covering all of the classic Supergirl stories, and even like other media versions, like the old Supergirl movie and her appearance on Smallville. I think they did this week and everything. Really great podcast. I highly recommend you check it out. I love listening to it anytime I'm familiar enough with the story to listen to it. So let's see here. I guess that's about it. Yeah, we're right up at 6 o'clock. So join us next time for more Legends of Gotham.
Legends of Gotham.
Legends of Gotham. Legends of Gotham.
Legends of Gotham.
Legends of Gotham.
Thank you guys so much.